What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy. We've got Musk in the studio as Gary is in the dentist, I believe.
Yeah. Potentially in agony as we speak, yeah.
As we speak. So putting up with me and Musk today, we are in the Feathers as usual. Big shout out to them. Don't forget, Monday to Thursday, get 50p off all your ale. On that one, right, quick one for you. They've now got Cruz Campo in here. Okay, so the lagers are Coors, Carlin, Cruz Campo and Madry. Okay. Do you think you would know the difference?
No.
Glad you said that because I was in here last night.
I'm not like a seasoned drinker, but I can only tell the difference when I go from one beer to a different beer. But with my first one, I wouldn't go, oh, that's defo whatever, unless it's something that's really bad.
Well, I'm glad you're humble enough to say that because me dad and Willow and my mate Carl were in here last night and we're quite seasoned drinkers and we put in order what we thought it was. And everyone slags Carlin saying, oh, you'd know. None of us knew.
Did you do a blind taste test?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah?
On all four of them.
And
yeah, maybe I've just got a terrible palate, but I'll drink anything, I don't know. But anyway, so it's all here for you. 50p off as well, Monday to Thursday. Tonight, you've got Brian Jones in the Feathers entertaining everyone. And then Saturday, The Real Deal, they're on. So big weekend of music. And then next week again, is that Steph Hodge, I think, on the Saturday next week?
And Abby Hodge on a Friday.
Boom. So there you go, yeah. Get down here of the weekend. Get entertained. Also, I was in the Reds Bar last night in town. My mate Ryan owns it. And the day before the derby, which is, I think, either Friday night, is the derby the Saturday?
So the derby's Saturday, 12:30 on the 20th.
Okay, so on the 19th, Friday the 19th, Neil Razor Ruddock is going to be in the Reds Bar in town. A bit of a, sportsman's dinner Q&A thing. We'll put a little link there in the bio and go and check it out. I think tickets are 20 quid. But I done Celebrity MasterChef with Razor Ruddock, didn't I? So see if he remembers me or not. I want to go down.
You got a little bit further than you, didn't he?
Only a touch, but we'll move on from that. And then also, last thing before we get into it, the Red Rum Club, I've got an album out today. It's out today, so go and support a local band. I've been to see them loads. Franny actually performs in here a few times. And yeah, support them, Boss Music. And the new album is out today. Boom. Housekeeping done.
Good little bit of housekeeping, that, yeah.
Right. Won the transfer window, haven't we, apparently?
If social media is what we go off, then we definitely have. It's also like the pessimist in me is just going, yeah, this is just other clubs also going, well, yeah, you've won that, so we may as well just fucking give up and all that kind of stuff.
I don't like...
But I do think we've got the best players out of the window, yeah.
Yeah, well, listen... The kind of inner child in me is absolutely made up that, the years we've kind of missed out on signings. And do you remember when, like, years ago, there was a thing where, like, I don't know, clubs in the Northwest almost lost out to London because it was like...
Yeah.
It was like all the wags want to be in London.
I think Sanchez was a big one that I thought, Liverpool are going to get him. And I think he chose to go to Arsenal because he wanted to, or his family wanted to live in London rather than live in the Northwest.
Thing, didn't it? And I can't remember a transfer window. I don't think any Liverpool fan can, where we actually just, throw in the kitchen sink at Everton and got pretty much everyone we wanted. So I don't want to sound like a moaning bastard, but I am made up. But I think because I'm just so used to being the underdog, I'm a little bit like...
You don't like that label?
Yeah, it's like...
You'd prefer to be the underdog and
yeah, because I just think the pressure now...
the nail and all that kind of stuff.
I just think the pressure now on us is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were already coming into this season as obviously reigning champions. The pressure now, getting in, last year's second top goal scorer. We've got arguably the best young player in Germany coming in. I just think, yeah, it's a lot of pressure now. And there's no excuses now either, is there?
No, and I think, like I've just said there a little bit, the opposition fans don't like the narrative that we prefer to be the underdog. They're like, well, you've got no excuse now. Mm-hmm. So it gives them more ammo that if we underperform, it's like, but you literally have got all the better players now.
Yeah.
You've had a really good transfer window. You can't blame it on the fact that, say, this time last year we were saying, well, we've only bought like one player and we could have lent on that if things weren't going so right.
What do you think of the narrative from this season to last season? We had a new manager come in. You can't expect too much. Klopp left. It was like, wow, how are we going to be? And we didn't sign anyone apart from Chiesa. to this season, you've got a manager second term now, champions, and we've just spent what, £500 million.
Yeah, the expectations are completely different. Last season, it was, well, this is going to be a transition.
Top four. Top four.
We don't know what Slot's going to be like. Is he going to transfer well over into the English league? Obviously, we've seen other managers come from abroad and not done so well. Then it was like, well, he's still only got the same players that Klopp was saying were as tired as he was and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, well, we need to get more players in, and we've actually only brought in Chiesa, who was injury ridden and a bit of a gamble, which again, 1 year down the line, he still is.
Yeah.
So we weren't really expecting a lot. Then we win the league like quite comfortably in the end, and then it's like, right, get your checkbook out. Now we can go and spend, and now it's a case of we've got no excuses because Slot's done it on a shoestring for him. Not saying that the players that he already had weren't good, but he didn't bring anyone in last season properly. Now it's his time of like, these are your players. You've been able to spend, as you've just said, close to £500 million in a summer. So we haven't really got anywhere to hide anymore.
No. I think, what does it mean for Liverpool in a sense? Do you think Klopp's looking there going, fucking hell? Like, I would have stayed on if I knew you were going to give me £500 million.
Yeah and no, because I think he left it in a good way. He didn't leave it like a Ferguson where he was like jumping a sinking ship. He could have done that maybe like a season or two earlier, and then he's kind of like brought in a couple of extra players and was like, right, I'm happy that this squad will be all right with a new face. I think he was just fed up.
Yeah, but you don't know whether, I know Slot and Klopp do speak, and after matches and stuff, they were speaking and stuff. I wonder if they're speaking about transfers and going, what do you think? Do you think we get him or not? Like, do you think Klopp's still in the background?
No.
Do you not think?
Not in that kind of stuff, no. I reckon they'd happily have him, like, visit and
I don't mean in like I just mean as a matey way.
Nah.
I reckon he is, you know.
I
Maybe I've still got my head.
I wouldn't want too much influence on the fella who
I don't mean influence, I just think, like, I know I've heard in interviews to say, like, they text after the match and he's like, well done and all that. So if they are a bit matey like that, he's thinking...
I reckon Slot's got other people he'll speak to about that kind of stuff. His dad, apparently, is one of the people who he gets a lot of influence from. He says, like, even when Liverpool play really well, my dad will still, like, message me or text me saying, why didn't they do this? Or you missed out on doing that. Like, he's proper, like, on him, even, like, when Liverpool are performing well as well.
It's interesting, that. But yeah, I just think, not moaning, obviously buzzing with the signings, but I don't know how I feel about this new pressure of, like, you're expected to win now.
Should we touch on, like, some individual players? Yeah. Obviously, because last week we were talking about, well, weirdly, you asked the question, do you think we'll get Isak? And me and Gary, and I'm not sure whether you did as well, all said no.
Yeah, I said no as well, yeah. So massive... So I spoke to the true Geordie, Brian. I'm obviously mates with him. I was texting him, and his view on it was like, it's Liverpool leaving it almost to the last minute type thing. I think that's what he's a bit pissed off, and he's pissed off about how Isak's conducted himself. But at the same time, what we both kind of agreed on, me and him, and I think most fans will do, most football fans are hypocrites at some point, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? You hate a player when he acts a certain way, but if he was doing it for your club, you'd love it type thing in the match. One thing we were talking about this week, weren't we, in the group chat, is I think footballers themselves, they don't give a fuck. Like, you saw Anthony Gordon come out and saying, you know, Isak, regardless of the situation, what a player, what a connection we had, and what a top man off the field. I think what football fans need to realise is these are mates, right? If me and you were working in the same company or in the same dressing room, and we're fighting for the club, and we do love the fans in that moment, but then when we get in the dressing room and you go to me, got a chance there to double my wages, go to the reigning champions and probably win the league and a few more trophies. What do you think I should do? As a mate, I'm saying, lad, why you even got to ask? Go. So, as players, I think they're all in like this players' union. Let's be honest, they don't really care what the fans think. As fans, I think as well, the older and bolder fans maybe, and maybe even some young ones who have got this kind of, they put this expectation on player loyalty, on morals, on values. We're living in a world now, forget football, you look at Bonnie Blue, people are prepared to sell the soul for a couple of quid. Why are we expecting footballers to not act any differently when everyone in society seemingly wants to go for the money. I'm not saying he's only going for the money. He's obviously gone to a bigger club and a more chance of success. But this kind of everyone hating on him so much. Listen, yeah, did he act in a great way? No. Is it a pleasant way to leave a club? No. But at the same time, he's got 15 years to earn as much money as he can, because there's only so many jobs in punditry and coaching. You know, I do get it. Like, so I don't really see the big hoo-ha, really. Now that it's said and done, it's like, okay, we bought a player from you. He could have acted a bit better, but he didn't. So what?
I think things have been a lot worse in the past for other players and clubs. Because as we were saying last week, like, the only thing Liverpool had done was put in a high bid for him, which at the time I think the highest that we'd gone to was like 110 or something like that. They'd said no, and we said all right. Yeah, there might be in behind the scenes where a couple of people have been like trying to bend his ear to, you know, throw his toys out the pram and all that kind of stuff. But it was like on social media and stuff, it's like people are going, well, yous weren't happy when Trent left. That's a completely different story. Liverpool got 10 million for him just for giving him to Real Madrid a couple of weeks early, but effectively nothing for him. His value was a lot more than 10 million quid. And he was a player who's come through the ranks who, that's where you do expect a little bit more loyalty.
Yeah.
Whereas Isak's been there for a few years.
2 years.
Yeah. He's performed really well. I think if they didn't get Champions League, it would have been a much easier transaction, because it would have just been, well, they can offer me that, you can't, end of. And it would have probably been a little bit easier for him to leave. But they might not have made as much money from him then. Because he's got even more power. And we've seen how much he used his player power anyway. So if they didn't have that, there's another incentive for him to leave. But yeah, it's
just been blown out of proportion a bit. Listen, Geordie's an emotion people Scousers are. It's all football's mad in both cities. I get it, but so what? Get on with it.
I also don't like the fact that it's Liverpool left it too late, because if we would have got told 125 earlier, we probably might have gone for it earlier. We were getting told we're old enough for 150.
I think it's Liverpool probably have left it late though, because listen, they're all businessmen at the end of the day,
and you want to get it.
You want it, so yeah. So even if they have, so what? It's business. I've seen a lot of talk as well on social media on like how is the correct way to conduct yourself, because you look at Mark Guehi, who, from all accounts, super nice guy. You know, his dad's a man of faith, is always in church, and you think, wow, we would never, do this, and acted really professional.
We actually saw him score in here on Sunday. Like that's how late he was still like giving his all for Palace.
So conducts himself impeccably. The bid comes in and it doesn't happen. They even create a thank you montage, goodbye video of him, which gets leaked. So he is good to go, and then for one reason or another, the deal doesn't get made. Whose fault is that? Is that Liverpool's fault for putting a bid in so late? Is it Guehi's fault for not kicking up a fuss? Is it Palace's fault for not sorting a replacement? Did they not sort a replacement because Liverpool left it so late? I mean, whose fault is it? I don't know. But the debate is now, well, who's laughing? Isak's got his deal. Hopefully going to win the league.
Same at Wizard.
Guehi, you know what? He's going to have hopefully a good season with Palace in a sense, but he's missed out, hasn't he?
He's potentially missed out on he'll still get his England place. That things like that don't change whether you go from Palace to Liverpool or whatever.
But if Liverpool win the league this season, win the Champions League,
he'll miss out on that kind of stuff. He'll miss out on at least another season, potentially, if he doesn't come in January. That is another season of, well, I could have had those trophies that they won in that year next to my name.
But you think about it. Let's just say he would have made an extra $100,000 a week, so he's losing out on $400,000 a month. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, when you say it like that, I know he's already probably on $100,000 a week. But let's say Liverpool would have put him on 2. For me, right, because I've obviously not got that money, for every week I was playing for Palace, I'd be thinking, oh my God, I could have had 200 grand instead of 100.
But if he leaves it till next summer, he'll get the signing on bonus anyway. So that'll kind of counterbalance that.
I suppose, yeah.
I think the worst case scenario for him financially would be if Liverpool come in January, get him for obviously a lot less than the 35 that they were hoping to buy him for this time, and then he doesn't get that signing on bonus either. For him as a person financially, but he then still has the opportunity of getting those potential trophies.
Because I think if we do get him in January and we sign off at say 20 million, 15 mil, he will then be saying, well, look, I want a big signing on fee. I want a big. You were gonna pay 30. I want that 20 million in my pocket rather than, I don't know. But so yeah, you could argue who acted right, who acted wrong. I just think as fans we need to accept that footballers are people, and if it was your mate who could go and potentially double his money, win trophies, you'd be saying to your mate, "I can go."
Yeah, and also on the flip side, players get kicked out of clubs so easily.
Yeah.
So when it's the other way round, the fans take it out on the player. But if a player was underperforming and playing below the level that club currently is, and the club get rid of them, the fans go, yeah, he deserved to go. Like, we should have got rid of him.
Well, you look at Nunes, right? Again, it's very hard to kind of, because I'm not feeling sorry for them because they're fucking multi-millionaires and that, like, so I don't. It's in context, isn't it? But you look at Nunes. He obviously wanted it to work at Liverpool. His missus and his young family, probably, I'm assuming, living a nice life in Cheshire somewhere, and they might love life in the Northwest, right? But then all of a sudden, Liverpool go, we don't want you, and the best bid is from Saudi, so you're going to Saudi Arabia. And he's like, well, I don't want to go there. Well, we kind of need you to, so. Now, I don't feel sorry for him because he's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, financially, he's okay.
But it's that point, isn't it, where if clubs don't want you, what do you do? Do you know what I mean?
So it's just more of a case that the players are like, well, like you just said, I've got a small window there, so I'm going to take my opportunity to go there, because if he left it another year, who's to say that we wouldn't have found somebody else or other clubs that were potentially getting him? Because as time went on, the clubs that Isak could have gone to were getting smaller and smaller, or fewer and fewer, because Arsenal had got a striker, United had then got a striker, everyone was getting their number 9s in, and then the amount of clubs that he could have potentially went to was like, well, Liverpool, which thankfully for us, we wanted them anyway, but we didn't have to have the competition with anyone because those other clubs had been sorted.
And also we could get a massive injury. I don't know, does his ACL or something, and he's never the same again, and you're thinking, wow, I was getting promised 200 grand a week, now you don't know, do you? So yeah, I'm not as up in arms as maybe a lot of people are.
And now that he is in, does he go straight in? Obviously, we'd have to see what fitness-wise.
Well, this is the thing about slot, and it's a good problem to have, isn't it? But it's like, someone told me that we've got something like 9 games in 18 days or something once we get back from the break, so there's going to be a lot of rotation going on. But I think if you're buying Isak and Wirtz and Etitike, all 3 of them have got to start, really, haven't they? That's what, $250 million on 3 players.
So the board will be open. And the board will obviously be open that they play and play well.
But on the flip side, you've got Gakpo, who's just signed a new deal. He's not going to be one of giving up his spot on the left.
And as I said last week, Gakpo's been doing
really well. Yeah.
All right to start season. Back end of last season, he was doing really well as well. One of the players that, and I'll put it further down, and then also one of the players that we were saying at the start of the season might have been sacrificed to bring these players in would be that Soboslai was going to potentially go on the bench.
Player of the season so far, hasn't he?
How can you drop him? Like, these are nice problems to have, but they're still it's a problem of keeping everyone happy.
Do you know what I think will be a really interesting point this season is we've had it feels like we've had a core kind of team of like good lads, if you like. And it's almost kind of ran from the kind of Milner and Henderson days, and it's now gone into the kind of Van Dijk and Robbo onto the Salah, and then it feels like a humble, well-grounded group.
They seem like professionals in terms of like lifestyle commitments, all that kind of stuff.
Whereas now they've had such a huge... And that's the other thing to mention. We have brought in a lot of players. A lot of players have gone as well. It's whether they can keep that culture. And that, you've got like a young lad like Frimpong coming in. Can they get an arm around him? And they're like, look, it's fucking time to work hard now. Yeah. Isak's come in with now this reputation, unfortunately, whereas I'll do what I want to get a move, and I'm Mr. Big Time. I've got this British transfer record for you on my head, and you're standing next to Salah there.
Yeah.
Is Salah going to be able to go, hey, listen, now you start working?
It's about getting that balance as well, because a few videos that first came out when Frimpong first signed, it was like him going around, like getting in people's faces, like doing like little Google Pixel adverts and stuff like that.
He's like a fun young lad, isn't he?
Yeah, so that can bring a bit of life in, which is good. But then you don't want it to go too far. It's like, hey lad, fucking turn it in now. You're like, as you've just said, we've got to work now.
And I think Salah on his tweets when he's come out and someone, I think that Anfield edition or something, whatever they're called on Twitter, they has kind of said, has there been a better replacement, a better upgrade? And basically had a pop at Núñez and Diaz and saying what an upgrade it's been. And obviously Salah's then tweeted straight back saying, why not respect the champions? And I think that's Salah saying to almost the new lads as well, you haven't done nothing yet.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you've got your move to the big club, but you haven't done nothing. We're the champions, us already here, we've done the hard work. Now it's time for you to get to our level and not only be good enough to get in the team, because this team that you've come into, we won the league last year, proved that you're good enough to get in this team. And I think Salah's tweet, and he said it in an interview as well with Van Dijk, and he's kind of said, these players need to come in and work, they need to work hard. So
he's got a lot of influence on loads of different people. So when he was potentially going and Van Dijk was potentially going last year, one of the main things that they were both saying was, we need this squad to be built on. That's obviously happened. So they've ticked that box. Then, as you just said, they're the ones that are going to be saying to everyone, right, this is how we do it here. This is the culture. You've got to follow that culture. I mean, there's no better role model than a fella who looks so in shape at his age, and it looks like he's not wavering fitness-wise or anything like that. That's why he gets his contract, when Liverpool don't normally pay that kind of contract for a lad who's well into his 30s. But then the fact that he's then tweeting or commenting on somebody else's tweet or whatever, it also shows that I'm not arsed out saying certain things to the fans as well.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they're the type of fans that most people who go to the match don't like anyway.
Whoever runs that account's belling anyway.
It's just like the people who are chronically online, who want and they would have made a little bit of money out of Salah being able to repost that, because
Is that how it works? How does Twitter work?
Because it'll based on the interactions and views and all that.
You don't get paid from Twitter, do you?
Certain accounts can, yeah. If they've got the blue tick and all that.
Listen, I love football. Listen, we've got a podcast talking about it, but I'm not spouting Liverpool shite 24/7 like at that Twitter account. You know what I mean?
And that's what it is. It's their way of making money, and the fact
stuff.
I'm just hoping that some of those types of accounts have gone, if the players are seeing it and the players are going to call me out on it. It's different when it's faceless. That's the only thing. So that account, maybe people do or don't know. I don't know who that person is. I wouldn't know who they are if I was walk past them on the street. So they can get away with that. But maybe it might just let some people rein in what they're saying, because the players are actually onto it. The players are calling people out now, and hopefully it won't put a stop to it, but it will reduce the amount of toxic shite that's out there.
And it's a good point that he makes, because there should be respect on it. So when these players do come in, I think that's what's going to be the big test for Slot now, because he almost had his team of champions week in, week out, swapping them around, getting them all to buy into it, the culture, knowing that, we signed you for 70, 80 million, but you're on the bench for a couple of games. Do you know what I mean? Having Kirkers come in, we want you to be the number one left back, but actually you need to still learn off him for a bit, so you're having a bit of a spell on the sidelines. I think that's going to be the manager's biggest challenge, I think, and just knowing what works, because I do think we are so top heavy, aren't we, in attack? So many options. It's just going to be getting that balance. I know we're going to come on to the Arsenal game, but I just think getting it right is going to take time, I think.
Yeah, and thankfully we will talk about Arsenal in a minute. Thankfully it looks like, based on his first couple of games, somebody has spoken to Kirkers and was like,
calm down.
Let's rein it in a little bit, because he was a little bit more mature at the weekend.
Yeah. Before we go on to on the game itself, just the spending. So, I'm in a few WhatsApp groups with a load of Mancs, and shout out to a few of them. Even though my mate Paul doesn't support United, he's very quick to have a pop at me about Liverpool spending, as is Johnny, Ryan, and a few others. Arsenal have spent more than us, by the way. Net spend, Arsenal have spent more. And Man United have only spent 50 million less than us. So everyone's going, we've spent all this money. The net spend, it's still a lot of money, but Arsenal have spent more, and United are only 50 mil behind us. So I'm not too
No, Liverpool have had a massive summer. But then we've got to take into consideration everything else that's built up to that massive summer, and the fact that those other clubs that you've just mentioned there they were still spending like 100, 150, sometimes 200 million last summer, the summer before, when we weren't.
And I think a stat that I don't think anyone knows is going back 10 years from the 2015-26 season, Liverpool is 7th in net spend, with I think 500 million. Man United have spent 1.3 billion in the last 10 years. I think West Ham have spent more than Liverpool net spend in the last 10 years. So, like you've said, this has been a lot of factors. One of them being we're the champions and we've just got loads of money for it. That's why we spent that much money. And again, there's been so many players let go.
Yeah.
There's been some amazing, arguably some of our best business has been the sales that we've got and the money we've generated from these sales.
And that's been happening over the
years,
over the last 5-10 years as well. Like it's been a let's get this academy player in for not that much. Let's build him. Let's put him into the academy. Put him into the first team. He might not get loads of games on the pitch like for the first team, but it's the fact that they've been able to develop their craft over the last 3, 4, 5 years with world-class players.
Yeah, and a few decent loans have helped, hasn't he? Like that Ben Doak, I think it was Middlesbrough, was it? I think he was out last year.
Yeah, he played really, really well last year. So obviously his profile went up quite a lot last year, especially for like the championship scene. He was doing really well. He's one of the best players in the championship.
Concha was a great example of you saying, being around Van Dijk week in, week out, got 40 million for him. It's it's great business. Yeah,
so that's the thing. Like when it comes to other clubs saying about like, I've even seen people say like, oh, why is Sky only talking about net spend now that Liverpool have started spending? And it's like, because net spend is actually the only thing that actually matters when it comes to PSR now.
Yeah.
It's not about the fact that teams are outspending or Liverpool are outspending other teams. It's about the fact that they're also doing it whilst running it as a good business.
Like you say, they've invested in the stadium, the new stadium expansion. I think that was the first season where we've had the full season of the prices and the corporate stuff. New Adidas deal. So I don't know why anyone's making such a big thing of it, because it's like legit, innit? And still 115 charges over Man City. What is even happening with that?
It's gone dead, hasn't it?
So anyway, yeah. So all in all, yeah, just you gotta be happy. You gotta be happy, haven't you? Do you want to the Arsenal game then? I thought it was a bit like a game of chess. It wasn't the most exciting game, was it?
It definitely wasn't one for neutrals. No.
But I actually weirdly enjoyed it because it did feel like two kind of master tacticians, two teams who are obviously, one of them's really good defensively, one of them's really good on the attack, and they're just kind of trying to figure out what's going to win us this game. Obviously, in the end, it was a bit of magic from Szoboszlai, but yeah, I weirdly enjoyed it. Yet it wasn't goal-mouth action and all that, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it kept you engaged the whole game. Like it wasn't that it was boring. It maybe if it wasn't like your team playing in it, you might be like, fucking hell, something needs to happen here. But it was a case of like there was that nervousness, there was that tension, there was the kind of, you could tell that the players didn't want to give an inch to the opposition. They were like all switched on throughout the whole game. As I said before, Kirkes over the first couple of games, you could tell that sometimes he was switching off or sometimes he was over eager. He didn't necessarily lose battles with Madueke, except for he was just not as fast as him in a sprint.
There was one or two, wasn't it? And you were like, oh no, he's going to get
Now we did buy him for his pace, but obviously he did get out sprinted, but his recovery and getting in the right position and then not doing anything silly in the box, like throwing himself in, it was like more of a block than a tackle. Like it was all quite measured from him as an example of the players kind of stepping up and being fully focused on what they needed to do.
And I don't know whether it was a case of you're playing Arsenal now, these are really good, let's switch on defensively, or whether it was a case of the first two games against Bournemouth and Newcastle, they've thought we can just blow everyone away here and attack, and they've almost forgot to defend, and whether it's a case of actually let's not play like we did, or whether it was more of a conscious effort, this is Arsenal, or whether they just kind of went, actually, you know what, let's just be a bit more, put the brakes on a bit, because the games like basketball games, weren't they, so back and forth, and I think a mix of it being Arsenal and almost just playing together a bit more and going actually get a bit more balance together and a bit more concise with our attacks and stuff.
And I know that the system is different to last season, the way we were set up and stuff, but as I said I think I might have said it last week, either on the show or just like in conversation, but Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister hadn't played together, like in the same 11 since the Tottenham game. Now, I know that they didn't play together as a 3 in the game the other day, but having most of the players that you need in your starting 11, like no disrespect to Jones, because when Jones has come on in games, he's actually been really good. It's just that it just is a little bit more attacking again if you've got Jones playing in one of the deeper roles.
I think Szoboszlai, I seen a clip on him, I think the Premier League put a reel up, and he's right back, wins the ball, and he sprints, and he's in their box, and then sprints right back.
Yeah.
So it's almost Slots went, listen, I need you at right back, but actually, I need you in midfield as well. And he just went, sound, I'll do both.
I think they counted on Match of the Day. It was like nearly 200 yards, like in basically one attack for Liverpool and then one attack for Arsenal, and he was part of both of them.
Yeah. No, he done brilliant. The only thing I'd say on that, and it's, what does Gomez think? If you're sitting there and you're going, well, the right back's injured, two right backs are injured, I'm the third right back, well, I can play right back, I'll play. Actually, you know what, we'll put a midfielder in there. And then the midfielder goes on and has a man of the match performance. If you Gomez, and added to the fact they're trying to sign Guehi as well,
I think the Guehi signing would have put obviously Gomez further down the pecking order.
Can you get any further though?
No, but it probably might have put him more towards the I'll fill in at left back or right back. Whereas I think the other day showed he is there to be the covering centre half, because Konate goes off and Gomez comes on. Yeah. I think it's more of a case of we needed him to be available at centre back if we needed him, because if Konate goes off and then Gomez has got a shift from right back to centre half, you're asking him to play a full 90, which when was the last time he had to do that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just thinking how he must be feeling, especially when you see Szoboszlai come in and play the way he does. It was.
I mean, Gomez signed an extension like 24 hours later, so he mustn't be too upset about it.
Do you think though this is totally going off, but would you question his attitude, what would you call it, his what's the word I'm looking for when you want to succeed?
Drive.
Would you question his drive and his ambition? Listen, he's playing for one of the greatest clubs in the country, and he's earning a lot of money. Would you be happy to say? I personally would be, because it's my home club.
But again, before you were talking about seeing it as a job, seeing it as how it affects your family and all that. If he's got a family that's settled up here,
true,
and he's going, well, I'm still training every day when I can. I'm getting used when it could even be a confidence thing where he's like, you know what, I don't want to be playing week in, week out because I don't reckon my body will handle it. And I know that Liverpool have actually managed me better than what another club might.
He's probably our longest serving player now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's had all of his formative years up here, he might just be like, well, I'm just happy. I'm content being here, and I'll win some trophies. I might not be playing every single game, but I'm in and around with my mates every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to uproot my family. There's loads of different things, but yeah, ambition's definitely a thing. But you can also say if you go somewhere else, you're limiting the amount of trophies you win, whether you're involved in them as much or not.
Knowing where your bread's buttered is another thing as well.
Yeah.
And his bread is definitely buttered with loads of money and loads of trophies. So yeah, and then the goal comes, obviously. I stand next to Brian Reid on the cop when he for the match, and I said, he's not gonna take this shot on from here, is he? And then Brian went, no, I think he will. I said, there's more chance of my leg growing back than him hitting the back of the net with this. Sure enough, he does, and my leg still hasn't grown back. But I mean, you know what? It was actually nice that there was you didn't have to look at a referee or a linesman, and it was just there's the free kick, there's the ball in the back of the net, go and celebrate, boom.
And that's what it felt like in the ground. It didn't feel like was someone offside or whatever. It was just like everyone just hit the roof.
It was boss, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a belter.
That ref cam was boss from it as well.
Yeah. You realise how far away it was, don't you? And the kind of magnitude of it was 32 yards, was it? And I think the keeper does well to get close to it. And I think it's a perfect free kick, isn't it? I don't think...
Yeah, posting in from there.
To the right, it's the keeper getting the fingertips on it. It's literally posted in it. It's And it was one of those games, like we said, quite tight. It was going to take either a mistake, wasn't it, or a bit of magic. And
I don't think Szoboszlai can do any more to kind of warrant his place in the next game.
100%.
He must have been at the start of the season going like, I don't know where I'm going to fit in. Obviously, he's been fitting in at right back the last couple of games, and pre-season will have told him you're not going to be centre mid all the time. And he did kind of allude to, I'll play where I'm told to play. I don't really want to. But he does get a lot of freedom in there, similar to when Trent was there. Like some of the balls that he was picking out, like across to Gakpo and stuff, was unreal. And he was, as you said, he was coming into midfield and just being the third midfielder.
I think will happen. I know he's obviously trying Verts out, isn't he, in this midfield three, and then obviously Isak comes in now. He's going to have to, like, forget about Salah. Salah starting every week. If you look at the centre and left side, you've got obviously Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo. If you want to, I won't mention Rios. You got them three and Verts. I think what he might end up doing is keeping the midfield three same as last season. McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai, and almost swapping around those four in those two places. Salah's going to start every week, but then having maybe Isak up front, Ekitike on the left, swapping Ekitike for Verts coming off the left, Gakpo off the left, Ekitike in the middle, Isak on the back. I think the midfield three might end up going back to what it was last season and just rotating those four in those two positions.
So you think it's going to go? You think it should go back to 4-3-3?
I think for certain games it will, yeah. Because
I think the Newcastle game probably needed it, but I think based on pre-season, based on the first three games, he's having this 4-2-4, and it might just be that.
Unless he suddenly gets the balance right, and it's
It seems like he's going to play two sitting, and then it's either going to be 3 then 1, or it might even be a 2 wide, and then even like Verts on the left, and then Ekitike and Isak as a 2, like the Newcastle play.
I'd like to see Verts not being in midfield and almost being that like a left attacking mid, and
not need to do the kind of physical side of stuff,
and having the engine room do what it done all last season, and then just going, look, we've won the ball back. We'll create space, offer an extra man, but go on, you do your number 10 stuff. That's what I'd like to see. Well,
that's the thing. We were talking before about keeping players happy, but you've actually got to keep the board happy as well, haven't you? Where it's like, well, we've just given you 79 million there for Ekitike, so he should be playing more than what Gakpo is, like on paper, like financially. But you've got to make sure that it's whatever's best for the team. If you do need to change the system, I don't reckon he'll change it loads. I reckon, as you said, it might be for certain games. The only worry there is when they're not used to playing that system. If you change it just for this game, then it might actually cause more problems than it's helped.
I was almost, I was almost hoping Isak kind of turned around and was like, I'm not going to Sweden, I'm going to stay and, be around Liverpool for 2 weeks. Here's a mad shout.
At least he's going to play a couple of matches though.
Yeah.
And you'll see what he's like in a match.
Yeah.
I know it's internationals like.
I don't think this is the craziest shout, right? But I think for the first time, I'm imagining, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty certain it probably is. This could be the first season where you have the top 3 goal scorers all from one club. I think you could quite possibly see Salah, Isak, Ekitike in the top 3.
No. I'm not having it.
I think number 1, Salah will get not as many goals as last season, but I think he'll get a lot because there was part of the end of last season where he was getting all like 2 or 3 men on him, and you're thinking they're not going to be able to do that this season now because they're going to have to focus on Isak as well. I think potential to create more space for Salah. Isak, I think, is going to guarantee, at least 15, 20, I'd say. And if that's TK, what's got 2 already? I don't know,
No, I reckon Haaland's still in that mix. And Isak's already 3 games behind. Probably won't start in the next game because he will have been back in Liverpool for a couple of days before we play.
Let's say 3 in the top 5 then.
I'd say 2 of them.
But you'd take that as well, wouldn't you, by the way?
Yeah, because 2 of them were in
we essentially had it last season, didn't we?
Yeah. And we don't know what Gyökeres didn't look great against us.
Not shy, but he's just not the kind of. There was so much emphasis on Arsenal need a striker. He is not that guy. They almost should have tried to go for Isak. Then I would have shit myself then.
Yeah, but again, the fact that they kind of not pulled out, but they were actively going after Gyökeres. It was like, they haven't got as much money for Isak as
Maybe, yeah.
Newcastle are asking for. So they were like, well, we need to focus on someone else. I think he's, I don't know, I think he looks a bit top heavy. Do you know, like he fumbles and bumbles a little bit. I think he's all right on the ball, and he's got a good shot on him, got good control. I just don't know if he's like a...
Yeah, he will score, but again, that's probably the best way I can do it. He's just not that guy that's going to
get you the Premier League.
No. Yeah, so 3 points, and we've said that in the last few weeks, we've not played great, but here we are, top of the league. So
I think someone said something about like on expected points, Liverpool should be like 15th or 16th, which obviously shows like in the games that we shouldn't have picked up any, and we've picked up 3. Or
sign of champions, isn't it?
Well, that's what we were saying last week, wasn't it? It was like, what do you want? Do you want to play well all the time and draw a few games, or would you prefer to come out the game and go, do you know what? We could have got a draw, or we could have got beat there, but we still came out with 3 points.
I've seen say it a few times. He's like, listen, they're winning. Who cares? They've won. Get on with it.
And I think Carragher was kind of saying, I'm not too happy with the start, but he's like, but he's a top, so it doesn't really matter.
We do our best to dissect Everton. Probably be done in 30 seconds now that Gary's not here. But I was gutted when they fucking got that winner. Like, no, I was absolutely. Do you know what I done last week as well? I hit the bar with it at half time. I put a tenner on all the Premier League games to have a draw, and it was quite close. Obviously, United ended up getting the winner. Obviously, Everton did as well. But great goal, by the way. Have you seen it? Dewsbury Hall's goal.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I want to take my bitter hat off for a minute and actually say I'm actually buzzing for Jack Grealish, Like, I just think, like, yeah.
It seems to be a perfect fit.
Yeah. Probably the fact I hate Pep Guardiola, and I just think, you've clipped his wings for so long, and despite me being, a bitter red, I am actually buzzing for him. Hopefully he does nothing against us, but to see him just, a lad enjoy his football. I think he had 2 assists in the last 2 seasons. He's got 4 now in 2 games or 3 games for Everton. Buzzing for him. Buzzing. Gutted he won, but buzzing for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, and as you said there, like, it does show that the Pep system might work for a team to kind of work well all together. But
it stunts individual growth. Yeah.
When you've got players like him who they are like individuals and they bought him because of that kind of stuff that he was bringing to Villa. And then you were like, but we don't want you to do that. When you're like one-on-one with someone, what we've seen at Everton, well, there was 2 players around him in his first game, and he got in between both of them. And I was thinking, when that was City, he had to give that back to the left back or to the centre mid or whatever. But now it's like, no, you're one of the better players, if not the best player in our team. So we're going to trust you with that. Like, yeah, you might lose it, but we've got the lads here to pick up the pieces.
That's one thing. They are good defensively, aren't they, Everton, considering, one of the big problems was not scoring goals. So it was almost a bit like, I think we said it loads last season, didn't we? Your best hope is nicking a 1-0 win, because, you probably won't concede. So the fact that they can give, like you say, Jack the ball and go, look, it's all right, just have a go, try something. And he's like, yeah, I will. And he's obviously doing it well.
Similar to what you were saying about the Salah thing as well before. Now that they've got Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and Diblin when he comes in, they've got players who are all handy on the ball, they're all quite direct, and it means that, say, this time last season, it was like, well, Ndai's their best player, let's just double up on him and keep him quiet, and we keep the rest of them quiet. Now that Everton have got all of these attacking options moving forward, you can't double up because you're leaving space for somebody else, and that's why you're probably going to get a lot more joy from those other lads and Grealish, because of the fact that they're all going to be helping each other find space by absorbing the ball a little bit more and then giving it off and all that kind of stuff.
It's one of them, I think. Who did they play before Wolves? They beat... they won, didn't they? They won Brighton, it was. So 6 points in the first 3 games. I think they'll finish mid-table, I think, Everton. 9th, 10th, 11th.
I think we'll see them concede more than last season because of the fact that they can attack more and they're not going to be as worried about, well, we need to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, and the concern being is that they're playing Wolves. Wolves are... I think we all had them to go down or at least be in that relegation fight, and to concede 2 against them when normally they're good defensively, I think you bang on, they will concede more. So I do think they'll be more mid-table, Everton, but it is concerning how Wolves. I would have thought they'd easy win that, and took obviously it wasn't a late winning obviously on the I think it was that 55 minutes it was, but
yeah, it was 3-1, and then they got the bit of a consolation goal, but it didn't actually do anything.
It's Wolves. I think they should be beating them a bit more comfortably, but I don't know, maybe Blues might think differently. I thought they should have won anyway, to win 3-2 and when they're normally so good defensively. But no, I think in general, I think Everton will be alright. I think they've made really good signings, haven't they?
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned, I think, I don't know, it was on Sky Sports or BBC or something, and he said something like, outside of like the top 4 or 5, Everton have probably had the best window. And considering that this time last year we were saying they might even go down, they've rode that wave, got Moyes in, new stadium, they've done some really good business. We were saying at the start of like the transfer window when Grealish came in, it was like, do you reckon they'd actually end up paying, is it 35 or something like that? Or 35, I don't know if it was 35 or 50 or something like that at the end of the loan. But if he carries on playing like this, it's a no-brainer.
Honestly, I would go as far to say, don't want to get all Reds thinking I'm going too soft on Everton, but I could honestly see Grealish getting, maybe not Player of the Year, but like getting himself well back into the England fold, and having, wouldn't surprise me if he has about 15 goal and assists. Like I don't think that's crazy to say. He's got 3 or 4 already. Yeah, I think he could have 15 to 20 goals and assists, which would be what a signing. You know what I mean? So maybe not player of the season, but maybe signing of the season it could be.
Yeah, especially if you're thinking about like the outlay, like just a lone player coming in and like having that much of an impact on a team. Like,
I think if Everton can go into the top half of the table and he gets 15 to 20 goals and assists, get himself back into the England team, it probably will be signing of the season. But there's no point in even talking about England, is there?
I wouldn't know where to start. To be honest, like,
I don't even know they're playing.
Yeah, so one of the lads the other day was saying, have you seen the England squad? It's like fucking terrible compared to like 2 years ago when they were saying they were going to win the Euros, and I was like, I actually don't know. All I'd seen because of the accounts that I follow was Trent wasn't in and Henderson was. And because of just Liverpool related content, it was like these two ex-players are in or not.
I don't want to talk about him too much. I still think he's a rat, but he did have a boss game for Madrid the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, he was sick, lad. Yeah, he was good.
Was it a hate watch and then it just turned into like a...
Someone just saying, like, I seen it come up saying like Trent and Mbappe scored a goal with his pass. It was offside, but his pass was like delicious. It was like unreal.
I've seen a couple of posts that he's put out from like training sessions. He looks like he's enjoying it. He's enjoying himself.
You still follow him, do you?
I don't really. I don't actively unfollow people on social media. I'm 35.
I do. I hate him, lad. He got unfollowed straight away. As soon as I seen that Duolingo press conference, lad, he just got unfollowed.
I'll have to watch myself then.
And I guess if you just touch on the rest of the Prem, then I think it will, like, again, same message last week, just will be an unpredictable season. Some mad results, weren't there?
Yeah.
City getting beat again.
Yeah, like getting beat twice in the first 3 is shocking. I think the last time it happened, it was something like the mid-noughties or something like that.
Yeah, when a team's won the league and they got beat the first 3.
04, 05, I think it was the last time that happened for them in the Prem, I think.
Yeah. Spurs again got beat again, didn't they as well?
Do you know what? I didn't, because I was out
last weekend,
Saturday, and then went to match Sunday, so I didn't really watch anything other than Liverpool. And where I was on Saturday, it was I was with a load of Everton fans, so I knew what was going on in that game.
And obviously Man United. I wanted Man United, obviously. Well, I always want them to get beat, but I was really interested to see what would have happened if they didn't beat Burnley at home. Obviously, they get the penalty in like the 99th minute. And again, I had a bit of back and forth with a few of my United mates, and they're like, I obviously was taking the piss at them, celebrating like they did. You know, when I think they got a goal kick in the last minute, and Fernandes is going off his head. And I was like, God, you're playing Burnley at home. And you know what, rightly so, my mate Ben come back to me and said, so we're not allowed to celebrate a last minute kind of winning anymore. Of course you are, but oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, and that's the thing with that, is it's all about where they are. So to draw there would have been catastrophic. You're drawing against Burnley at home. I know quite a few people did put a bet on Burnley to win, because like they were decent odds for how bad United had started the season. It wouldn't have surprised me if it was a draw. But yeah, I think that was more relief than like happiness about winning there. It was more of a fact that we haven't embarrassed ourselves to a point where
they did though, didn't they?
No, they did, but they got 3 points on paper, and that's all that'll matter later on in the season.
But I was just really keen to know what would have happened, because he looks like he's losing the plot a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And
like I said though last week, he's a good coach when it's his system and his players and everything clicks, but it is a bit of like square pegs and round holes for him. It's either like, let's make sure I'm playing my system, but the players I'm choosing aren't correct, or if I'm going to bring in the players that are better, they don't fit how I want them to play.
And you don't know how much the player power is, in the sense that they're thinking, if we don't win, he will get sacked soon.
Yeah.
You'd like to think that's not what's going on, but...
And I think it'd be not funny because we lost out on Guehi the other day, but it wouldn't surprise me if after, say 10 games or whatever, Amorim goes, Glasner then goes to United, and then Guehi's going, so I'm still at Palace because you threatened to leave and now you've jumped ship. So we're talking about like player power and players just jumping ship when they want. Managers do it as well.
Oh, well, yeah. That's probably one thing we didn't touch upon, did we? It was a bit naughty, that one, from the manager.
I mean, it shows how much faith that they put in the manager, that they know that when he goes, then the good times have gone again.
Yeah.
But
he will get snapped up in, won't he?
I think he's, no offence to Palace, he's too good for Palace. He can't be sticking around if somebody... And
that's why he hasn't signed a contract.
Yeah. But we're talking about all these players, like, and the power that they've got. If a bigger club comes in for him, he'd just be like, yeah, they're going to pay me out, and I'm going to join there.
And everyone's personal circumstances are so different, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? People have got different families, and that you can't be like, you've got to stay loyal to this club because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, I have got a life outside of this game of football, as well. And
you were saying last week, performance-wise, United aren't great, but it's still Man United.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's why Amorim needs more pressure on him to do well, or he's gone. But then it also means that they still can get decent players in and decent managers when they become available.
Listen, I hope he stays there for a while. Anything else on footy before we round off with some US tennis?
No, go ahead.
Right.
I've been pre-warned about this tennis chat. I don't know much about tennis, so Granty's put a load of stats out just to back himself up.
For the OGs of the Sportscast, this is for you. So there's a running joke on here that I've got a vendetta against Emma Raducanu. I haven't. I just think she's just overhyped, and if it wasn't for her good looks and a modelling career, I don't think anyone... She's a bit like Anna Kournikova. Remember her? The blonde pin-up in the 90s, wherever it was. Wasn't very good at tennis, though. Listen, I'm saying it like I'm great at tennis. She's obviously amazing at tennis, but what I mean is she'll never get to the upper echelons of tennis, right? So the US Open is finishing off this weekend. The semi-finals are tonight. In the men's, you've got Djokovic against Alcaraz. That'll be a belter. Alcaraz hasn't dropped a set yet. He's playing Djokovic, who has dropped quite a few. I think Alcaraz will go through there.
Seen his Barnet, by the way.
His what?
His Barnet.
Who's?
Alcaraz.
No.
Just whipped it all off last week.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
He's got a skinhead.
Yeah. Looks sharp. He had that and a total 90 vest on last week when he was playing.
Total 90, God, memories there.
He looked sharp, mate.
Yeah, so he's playing. So that to me, that's the big one, the semi-final. Djokovic against Alcaraz. And then in the other, you've got Sinner, who also hasn't dropped a set. He is, his opponent, I can never say his name, Ogier Alassim. Anyway, he's 27th in the world and he's 16-1. So it's definitely going to be Sinner in the final. I'd bet Alcaraz. And then in the women's, you've got Sabalenka against Beluga and Osaka against Anisimova. And then the final will be on Sunday. Now, the reason I bring it up, US Open, I like watching the big, obviously, tournaments. This is the tournament where Emma Raducanu made her name. Right. It is funny, this, because someone, and I don't know who it was, because it was years ago, set me down this Emma Raducanu wormhole and basically said it was because of COVID, that's how she won it. And I was like, really? So I've, using ChatGPT, went down an Emma Raducanu wormhole, let's take this US Open this weekend, right? So the women in the semi-finals, right? Where are they ranked? In the first semi-final, you've got ranked first in the world against fourth in the world. And then in the other semi-final, you've got 23rd in the world against 8th in the world, okay? So you're either going to have the number 1 seed or the 4th seed in the final playing against the 23rd or the 8th. Now, you'd expect for most finals, you're going to have the top seeds in the final, right? You agree? Mm-hmm. Do you know when Emma Raducanu won the US Open? These are the opponents she beat. These are the opponents' world rankings for her to win the US Open. So the qualifying round, she played 285th. Then she played 167th. Then 96th. Okay, that was to get into the final proper. The first round, she played against the 128th seed. The second round, she played against the 49th seed. Third round, she played against the 41st. Fourth round, she played against the 43rd. In the quarter-final, she played against the 12th seed. That was the highest ranking opponent she played to win the US Open. In the semi-final, she played against the 18th seed. And in the final, Emma Raducanu beat Leylah Fernandez, who was ranked 73rd in the world. Now, I'm not saying she didn't have to beat good players. She did. She was obviously like ranked whatever, 150th maybe herself. Whatever she was ranked, like she's obviously an amazing achievement. But tell me any other tennis tournaments where you don't have to beat someone in the top 10. It just doesn't happen. But it did happen because of COVID. And that's why she will never win another tournament. Unless there's another pandemic.
And fair play, she's absolutely ridden on the back of it.
Listen, she has rode that US Open victory till the cows come home, and good on her. I am all up for people having a few quid. I hate haters. I'm not hating on her. Buzzing for the girl. Made up, she's made loads of money off it. Good on her. My point is, she's a little bit lucky, and she probably won't win another one again. That's it. But good on you, Emma. If you do listen, I think you're gorgeous. I think you're brilliant at tennis. Probably a little bit better at modelling. Keep doing that. I
don't disagree on the whole...
No one can disagree.
She might not win it. I just think it's funny that you're still talking about it.
Well, because it's the US Open, isn't it? I had to mention the US Open, and I just thought it'd be funny to give a bit of background and context to why I am actually right on this. Yeah. And no one can disagree now because I've got it all on the stats.
She had to go 4 years, though, hasn't she?
She's had to... Listen, fucking hell, and she's probably a good laugh. Do you know what I mean?
She's not.
Do you reckon she's boring?
Yeah.
She probably doesn't have a pint, does she? If she's obviously an athlete model. Maybe come down the feathers, Emma, and we can go through your COVID run-up over a pint, and hopefully you don't batter me and we can actually have a laugh. There you go. I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah.
Probably best ending it.
End it there, lad.
Nice one, everyone, for watching. Please like, comment, share, add it on your stories on Insta. You know, put your mates on, your mum, your dad, everyone. The support does mean a lot. And we'll have some rather big news next week. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon.